when I was a kid, this was now when I was living with my grandmother, and I lived with my grandmother from 2 to 5, and then um, we came back, and I can't remember why I was there again. I know my dad, Mike DiBiase. He and another guy were going to try to promote Arizona, kind of like make a territory out of it.
Oh,
And so I was back in Wilcox again. This is like third grade, I think sixth grade, part of that from fifth. Anyway, but so I won, and of course this is a little town, Wilcox. Forward punt. I won the forward punt, pass, and kick contest in my age group.
all right.
And so the first place prize was it looked like a letterman's jacket. When guys in sports, they get their jacket, with the big letter on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I got my jacket, and it was Dallas Cowboys right there. That's when it started. That's when I became a Cowboy fan, and it never left me. And then I met, I know you know who he is, George South. Do you know who he is?
Yes, sir. Enhancement talent for many years.
Yeah, and he's got his own wrestling school, and he teaches guys, and he gets them to know the basics. So George would haul his ring. He lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. He would haul his ring everywhere to do these shows with me.
Mhm.
And of course, I made sure he got taken care of as well. Him and his crew. And I know, and of course, and he didn't have to pay his guys much because they were just young guys learning the business. And so, anyway, one of the trips was out to some suburb of Dallas, and so we're leaving. George says, "Man, I just got to go by Cowboy Stadium because his whole house looks like the Dallas Cowboys, and I just got to go by there." So we go, and we drive up to the parking lot, Cowboy Stadium and everything, and of course it's all locked down. There are, the only two cars in the parking lot are mine and his, and then one of the caretaker, he comes up to the fence from the other side, and and then we just reassured him, and I told him, I said, "Sir," I said, we're not vandals or anything else. I told him who I was. And I said, this guy right here, if there was ever a Dallas Cowboy fan, this is the guy. He could be the mascot for the team. He, just loves the Dallas Cowboys. And I said, I do too, but not quite like George. And so he said, well, I wonder why I stayed late tonight. And now I know I'm supposed to let you guys. So he opens up the gate and lets us in.
Wow.
And he takes us on a personal tour of Cowboy Stadium. And let us, I got a picture of George standing right on the star in the middle of the field.
Unbelievable.
And I think he actually, he gave him a seat, like most of those seats are like anchored, you can't move them. They're permanent seats. And right. I don't know how he did it or if there was just one available, but he says, here's a little memento. Take a little bit of Cowboy Stadium with you. And he gave George the seat. That's
Holy
funny.
Smokes.
So he's got a seat from Cowboy Stadium. So,
what year would that have been? Do you recall?
Oh gosh. Now I could probably call George and find out, but we might be able to use that material. I don't know.
George might be a fun guest here on the podcast.
Oh yeah, he might be. Yeah.
We'll have to bring him on at some point. That sounds like a blast.